Boatworks today is sponsored by Total Boat and Alexial Yacht Coatings, as well as supported by the generosity from the beautiful folks over on Patreon. Thank you so much.
So, welcome back to the shop, everybody. Now, my goal for this week on this little 24-foot project I have going on here is I want to get the bulkheads removed. I need to get the tabbing that was all around the original sole that I ripped out a few weeks ago. I need to get all that tabbing ground down and made gone. And if time allows, then I want to start making the templates for cutting out the new sole that's going to be going in here that's going to be made out of Kusa. But before I get started on the interior, there's some patches around the deck here that I want to get covered with gel coat so that this glass can actually cure. Now, something to keep in mind is once I pull these bulkheads out, a lot of this deck is no longer supported. So I want to really minimize any foot traffic or any need to have to walk around on deck. I want to minimize that as much as possible. Might it be okay to go walking around up there? Probably, but I'm not gonna push my luck. So this is how they did it before they started stamping the hull identification numbers into the hull. This one has no hull number stamped on the transom. But, so this is it. Gotta make sure I save this. I do not want to lose it. Now, before I start slicing and dicing here, I just want to explain a couple of things. I have a feeling these are going to come out pretty easy, I guess. There isn't anything holding it in. There's a little bit of tabbing right through here, up to here, maybe, I don't know, 1.5 feet worth. Nothing along the top. Nothing, at least on the salon side. Now, there is glass almost full length on the forward side, so all the way from the sole, up all the way around. Top little gap there, I imagine there was a little bit of a wire run going through there. And everything all up and through top, and then tied into the top deck. Both sides. God damn. I gotta get a fucking floor in this thing. I'm gonna kill myself. Now I'm gonna try and get these bulkheads out in solid pieces so that I can reuse these as a template for when I, transfer this over and start cutting out the Kusa. The bottom from about here down is just, I'm gonna have to be very, very delicate. If I end up, losing, that part of the bottom, I guess it is what it is, but I'm gonna try my best not to. Now for cutting all this out, I'm going to be using a little multi-tool here, specifically with this blade. Now this has definitely seen better days. It's just got back from the dentist. It's missing some teeth. But this is it's a carbide or is it diamond tipped? It's one of those two. I'll have a link down in the description. I've had this blade for several years. This is the one and only blade that I've found. I'm not saying that there aren't others, but this is the only blade that I found that can legitimately hold up to cutting through fiberglass without literally turning into a butter knife. So I finished grinding off all the tabbing where the new flooring is going to be living. Primarily I was focusing along the sides of the hull as well as the trunk for the swing keel. Now this whole process took quite a bit longer than what I was anticipating. So I guess typical boat project, right? But the areas that ended up being the biggest time suck were back in these two quarter berths on the port and starboard side. And that's just primarily because access back here was not exactly easy. So between having to break out the belt sander, the grinder, and using some vice grips to just rip off what I could actually, get clamped onto, I got it done, but it took a lot longer than what I was anticipating. Now, my next steps are going to be making all the templates so that I can start cutting out the new flooring material. Now, to do this, I'm not going to make my templates and go straight to Coosa. I'm going to make the templates. I'm going to transfer that over to some OSB. It's a lot less expensive. Make my cuts. I know that there's going to be some little modifications or tweaks that need to be done here and there, especially around the sides where the flooring is going to be, or the sole is going to be kind of butting up to the sides of the hull. I know that there's going to be a little bit of pencil whipping that needs to be done there. So I'm going to do all of the trial and error on the OSB. Once I'm happy with that, then I'll transfer all of that over to the Coosa and start getting all that cut out. But that's going to be a bit of a process. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick the can. I'm going to postpone those steps for next week. But with all the time that I spent on the interior this past week, I did have a little bit of an aha moment that I want to kind of throw past people here just to get some feedback. Specifically, it's on a potential location for the battery bank. Now, if you happen to have caught last week's video, you saw that I had two beautiful batteries show up from Epoch. Now, each of these batteries are 300 amp hours each. So combined, 600 amp hours of total power here, which arguably for a lot of boats this size would be oversized, but not the way that I'm intending to use this. Now, the one thing that I want you to focus on is going to be the combined weight of these two. Now, total, these two batteries weigh 162 pounds. Now, remember that. Now, my original thought was to have the batteries located essentially right in here. So I could have one battery here, the other battery on this side of the swing keel trunk. Now, on paper, this has some things going for it. I mean, this puts the batteries centrally located, so they're right along the middle of the boat. They're not going to make anything list towards one side or the other, and they're out of the way. Those are two very positive things. However, because there is a separation here, and this is the companionway, or the steps are going to be coming down here, they're not exactly going to be the easiest to wire together. I mean, obviously, it can certainly be done, but it's a little inconvenience. Now, where it starts to get a little bit tricky is when I try and connect these into the other pieces of the hardware that are going to be involved here. So like your inverter, the charger, and any of the other associated pieces of hardware that go along with that. That's going to be tricky. I don't have a nice, clean place to be able to mount any of that stuff, as well as how all that's going to tie into the distribution panel. Now, the only place that I can come up with, if the batteries are located here, would be to have a panel mounted right up in here. So I'd have to build a little box out, maybe 2, 3, 4 inches out, I guess. I'd have to take a look at the hardware and measure what kind of clearances they need. But I could have the distribution panel here, and just the logistics of getting the wiring from here to the other pieces of hardware, again, the inverter and the charger, having all that fed up to a distribution panel here, when the primary goal for this whole, screwing around back in these quarter berths was to have these as two functional quarter berths for my girls. So it just seems like, by putting the batteries here, it's going to eat up some room for them in their bunk area. And then they have all the wiring and crap kind of, being led around here. It starts to make this already small space feel a whole lot smaller. But that said, it is still an option. I'm not saying it's a great option, but it is an option. Now, door number 2 would be to take the batteries and shift everything further forward into the V-berth area, which is where I'm sitting right now. Now, we're going to need to kind of use our imaginations here a little bit, but keep in mind, the bulkheads are still going to be here. You can still see the outline, on the cutouts here. I purposefully left the tabbing here just for this reason. Now, when these bulkheads are back in place, and I start framing this out, the platform for the V-berth, I could set this at any height. This is going to be a pass through to the center here, and I could have this platform height anything that I need. So plenty of room to have the batteries, right up in here, essentially where I'm sitting. And then that also gives me the option to have some panels or, running lengthwise here and here where I could have the inverter, the charger, and all the rest of the hardware mounted. It would be clean once everything is in place. I could lift the panels off the top of this V-berth and I would have direct access. So the batteries would be out of the way. I would have excellent access. Everything would be dry and safe. It has a lot going for it. Now, as far as making the runs or the wiring runs, again, keeping in mind that the bulkheads are going to be living right here, it would be easy to make those, and it would be a short run to have it go from the inverter charger right up to the back side of this bulkhead, plug into the distribution panel. So again, it doesn't matter which side it's on, but the panel itself would be mounted on the salon side. All of this wiring would be hidden and pretty much unobtrusive when for when we're staying in here. So it's got a lot going for it. But the one thing that I think is potentially the largest advantage is just simply the fact of being able to shift this weight forward. Now, the thing to keep in mind is further aft, I'm going to have a 10-horse outboard hanging off the back. There is no inboard engine on this boat. So I'm going to have a 10-horse hanging off the back. So what does that weigh? Let's just say that's roughly the same as the outboards or as the batteries that are going to be here. So those two are kind of a net wash. But we're also, we're going to have people sit in the cockpit, 2, 3, sometimes maybe even 4 people sitting back there. That's a lot of extra weight. There's also going to be additional hardware mounted in the far, far back, different bilge pumps and washdown pump, just storage, lines, maybe some chain and anchor. So there is going to be, borderline too much weight back, further aft if I have all those batteries shifted back to the original location. So for that reason, I think in a lot of ways it makes sense to shift this weight forward. Now, it's still not all the way up in the forward. You know what, let me take you up on top and I'll show you kind of where everything would land. So for a little bit of reference here, if I have the batteries placed where I was originally talking about, the first option back here, further aft by the swing keel trunk, basically they would be right where I'm standing, just beneath me. And that would leave, I don't know, let's take a little bit of a hot guess here. They would be about 9 feet forward of the actual transom. Again, there's going to be a 10-horse hanging off the transom as well as some other, pumps and storage, and that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a fair amount of weight hanging off the back. 9 feet forward, we're going to have 162 pounds, something like that. Now, option number 2 is going to be placing them further forward, and those batteries would land pretty much where I'm standing now. So a bit further forward, but still, I'm gonna laugh if this is 9 feet again. 9 feet further, 9 feet aft of the very bow. So it's not like I'm jamming, 160 pounds way up at the nose of the boat. It's still pretty much midship. The distance between these two spots is 5 feet. 5 feet, the weight would be shifted forward. I don't think that would make a single bit of difference in a negative way. I do think it would have nothing but upsides by having that weight shifted forward again, given everything that's going to be hanging off the back here. Now, that said, I'm sure a few of you had this thought running through your head right now. This is a small project, or this is a small boat, and there isn't any ideal way to do everything that you want. There's always going to be some level of concessions, right? Now, the one major concession, potentially, would be if I have the batteries located further forward in the V-berth, beneath our bunk, that really kind of chews up any possibility of having even a portable head installed here. Now, I know based on videos that I've done in the past on talking about this, having a head on board, I get it. It is like the #1 priority for everybody, on a boat. And I don't personally get it, but I at the same time, I do get it. So I'm not saying that having a head somewhere up in here would be impossible. I'm just saying it would have to be really, really creative. I mean, I would have to take a hard look as far as being able to squeeze every single inch that I can out of this interior to utilize the space for something that honestly I don't think would get used all that often. You know, the one thing I want to, and maybe I didn't make this clear last time, even though I'm designing the interior for upwards of 4 people, myself, wife, and my 2 girls, reality is they're busy with activities. You know, probably more than 90% of the time, it's just going to be me on this boat. Again, not always, but more oftentimes than not, it's going to be just me. And a good part of that time is going to be in a slip at a marina with full amenities. So, you know, on a small boat like this where the space is just at an absolute premium, I'm having a hard time justifying taking up that space for a head that's just going to be a one-use space. So again, I haven't crossed it off the list, but just something to keep in mind is by shifting the batteries forward, it does complicate being able to do something along those lines with a head. So just pros and cons. It is what it is. So with that little nugget of information, let's let the comments fly here. But I think this is going to be a good stopping point, at least for this week's video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this interesting. And if you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you in advance. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave those down below. I will do my best to follow up with you. And as always, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I will see you in the next video.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.